I couldn't see much else in the greenhouse, so I thought I'd just bring you into our shed just to see if there's any other nocturnal animals walking around. It's a lovely warm night, really humid. You can hear the crickets in the background. Lovely sound, almost like you're in the tropics. This is one of my tanks containing the beautiful rhino rat snake. Let's see if we can see any. Oh yeah, up there. If you can see through the branches, through the foliage, if I can get the light just right. There we are, you can just see. Oh, it's really hard to see them. Let's have a look. There we are, that's better. You can see them a bit better now. There they are. These are beautiful nocturnal hunting snakes, the rhino rat snake. The reason they're called the rhino rat snake, if I get the light just on his nose, right in the middle, there we go, you can see they've actually got a horn. If I zoom in, they've got on their nose a beautiful horn. It's really flexible, really bendy. It doesn't serve any purpose for defence, just a very flexible horn. I guess they got it just because they can. But these guys are totally arboreal, meaning they live up in the trees. That's why I'm currently looking up at them. They're climbing about on the branches. This one in here is probably about 4 or 5 feet long. They're a beautiful, beautiful snake. And they hunt up in the trees in Southeast Asia, in the rainforest, looking for birds and for mammals. So right, let's leave her alone and we'll carry on hunting around, see who else we can see. Oh, there's another beauty in there. It's another one of my containers. That there in the middle is a sleeping mountain horn dragon. If I get the light on, beautiful. Again, from Southeast Asia. They live in the primary rainforest. It's very damp, very humid. And these beautiful, beautiful animals, they live on these branches all their lives. And they're ambush hunters. Very much like the rhino rat snake. They live in ambush on the branches, and any insects going by in the daytime, they're diurnal, meaning they come out in the daytime. They pounce on them. So beautiful things that you can see him fast asleep, lining himself up along that branch, just so he can avoid snakes such as the rhino rat snake finding him. Naturally, these guys would be fast asleep on very thin branches and in bushes, just purposely so they can avoid being eaten by snakes who are exploring for them. Right, let's carry on looking around. In this tank here, this is also chock full of plants. I love plants. And up here, fast asleep on this branch, it's this beautiful, beautiful, I can get the light just right. See him up there? Look at him. That's called a night owl. Fast asleep, just woken up as the torch hits it. This beautiful, vivid green colour. Aren't they stunning? Now, these are from Cuba, from the rainforest in Cuba. If I can get the light just right, there we go, that's better. They live in Cuba, up in the canopy again, up in the rainforest. Beautiful, almost like a chameleon. They change colour just like chameleons. Right now, this one's totally relaxed as it was fast asleep, and it's this beautiful bright green. They can go almost black if they want to change colour. But right now, this is a female. She's fast asleep up on the branches, probably about 6-7 feet above the ground, just exactly where she wants to be. Right, let's carry on hunting around in the dark. This is a bit like a nocturnal safari. I love it. I just don't know what we're going to see. That's called Skinkopus. Skinkopus, or the Peter's sand skink. And these guys, they live in the semi-desert, in the sub-Sahara, in Central Africa. They live in the sand dunes, and they live in savanna sand dune areas, really, where they feed upon crickets. If you look right in front of it, there's a cricket. I don't think he's going to survive very long. But these guys are totally, totally nocturnal. Actually really nervous. This is, I think I've got to keep my voice down. This one might be about to do a runner. These things are totally, totally nocturnal. They live underneath the sand and the gravel most of the time. This is actually the first time I've seen this one since I got it. So yeah, this is a real treat to actually see it on the surface. Such beautiful, beautiful animal, aren't they? I love the tiger stripes. They really are stunning. Right, let's leave you alone, because potentially I think you're probably looking for your meal up on the surface. As I'm scanning around all my tanks in the beautiful sound of all the crickets, I just had to show you one of my gecko tanks and see if there's any classic geckos. Ah, there we go. There you go, a gecko, the perfect nocturnal animal. This is a fanfoot gecko, actually sitting on a fluorescent tube in its tank. I guess the reason it's sitting on the fluorescent tube is because in the daytime, the tube of course is on, it's too hot, whereas at night time, when the geckos come out, the tube is still pleasantly warm, and of course they're an ectotherm, so they need to get their heat from somewhere. They can't generate their own body heat, so he's quite happily sitting on this fluorescent tube. But the geckos are stunning, and they're really, really famous, of course, for their toes. If you look at this one's toes, if I zoom in, you can see why they're called fanfoot geckos. The ends of those toes are all fanned out, literally like a fan, and they're what's known as lamellae. Lamellae, on the underside of those lamellae, hundreds and hundreds of little tiny ridges containing these hairs, which interact with the surface that they're walking on and allows them to walk up vertical surfaces, walking up glass. He'll even walk across the ceiling of this tank. Look also at that wonderful, wonderful eye, that beautiful cat's eye. When I turn the torch off him like that, I don't know if you can still see, but that pupil immediately starts opening. When I take the torch off this one, that pupil will completely open to allow maximum light in. This is a 100% nocturnal animal. Aren't they beautiful? They live in the deserts of Egypt, and this one right now is no doubt exploring in this tank, looking for its insect prey, possibly looking for a mate as well. Good luck to you, my beauty. Oh well, I've just noticed something. As I've just panned my head around, I've noticed this long stick-like thing. That is no stick, that is a tail. If I very carefully tilt up this tail, we will reveal a beautiful, beautiful animal. If I can get the light just right and focus, there we go. That is the male nightingale. You can see how vividly green they are, aren't they stunning? They're actually an iguanid, but they change colour just like the chameleons. We saw the female earlier on, but they are beautiful, aren't they? Look at those beautiful animals, and they change colour. They are this beautiful green colour when they're fast asleep, and often when they're content in the day, they're bright green. But when they're angry, or when they're displaying it, they can almost go absolutely jet black. They've got amazing colour repertoire, just like the real chameleons. But let's leave this guy in peace. Isn't he beauty? What a treat. Don't often see these guys because they blend so well. It's just waking up. They blend in so well with all the plants in these enclosures, so I don't often see them in the daytime. So it's really cool to come out here this time of night and actually see them, find them fast asleep. If we're out in the wild right now, the best way to find these nightingales and also real chameleons is by finding them fast asleep, because when they're fast asleep, they don't really move. Right, I think we're waking this guy up. I will leave you in peace. Night, night, gorgeous boy. I've just got to show you this. Look at this girl. I'm really, really quiet. This is a beautiful female mandarin rat snake. They're a nocturnal rat snake that come out of China. This is one of our beautiful captive bred specimens. I very rarely see her. They're almost completely subterranean, meaning they live under the soil. But this time of night, in the middle of the night, they come out and they hunt on the surface. As their name suggests, they are a rat snake, a rodent feeder. Here she is hunting around on the surface, looking absolutely beautiful. You can see her burrowing around. You can see this burrowing activity is perfect. Absolutely perfect way to find rodents hanging around in this leaf litter if they're in the forest floor in China. But oh my goodness, isn't she beautiful? There's her tail just disappearing. Right, I think that might be the end of our night. She's disappeared. I just don't want to disturb these animals anymore. It's absolutely wonderful to be able to see them active like this. But I think it's time for bed for all of us. So it's been wonderful spending time with you guys, showing you the animals that are out in the dark. Those that have beautiful nocturnal activity in our greenhouse, in our shed. I'm so pleased you're all with us. And so I'll bid you all a fond farewell, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Night, night.